check out that new style of playmat featured on NobleAsta.com. So cool, so wow.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor and I am here with purple Luffy versus green yellow Yamato. Really excited to be playing this matchup. That hand does not excite me at all though. But yeah, I love green yellow Yamato. I think it's such a fun deck and there's so many different ways to build it, and that leader ability is crazy. But we end up starting, we go first, which isn't the worst thing, isn't the best thing, and passing turn. And yeah, I'm sitting on two Luffy Taros. There is a Sangoro in there. And that's exciting. I like to see the Luffy Taro into Sangoro combo. It's probably my favorite in the deck, and that has nothing to do with the fact that Sanji is my favorite character. All in the fact to do that. Sangoro is so good. But my opponent plays down the Shura, gets the Holy there. And we are sitting at 3 Dawn. I don't have much of a play. I'm thinking the blocker law is a good bet. And I go ahead and poke 5. He's got 6 cards in hand. I just want to see if I can get him. And I do. I end up, he ends up taking a life there, which is great. We ramp, getting the 9 Mom and tapping 4 to play the blocker law, minusing 1 Dawn. And we're going to get some cards out of his hand, which, honestly, in a green-yellow deck, I am fine with that. So, we are going to grab 2. We grab the 9 Zoro, and I end up grabbing... I accidentally see both of them, but I see that I only saw a little bit of the card underneath. So, we grab the Onami. So, 2 really solid cards to get out of his hand. His sleeves kind of sticking together, almost giving me 3 cards on that. But honestly, the amount of relief I saw when I saw those 2 cards being pulled from his hand was crazy. Yeah, I'm absolutely okay with that. We still don't have much of a play for when we go to 6 Dawn, but we'll figure it out. And my opponent actually plays, I believe her name is Amazon, and honestly, wasn't expecting this, and she was a total nuisance. But my opponent goes ahead, swings 6. I just block with Law. I don't really want to give up a lot of what I have in hand, but I don't really want to take this double attack. I need my life to ramp. So honestly, yeah. So I end up swinging 5, and my opponent actually ends up taking, and I'm like, okay, sick. I'm feeling really comfortable here. I'm feeling pretty good. I just play out Sangoro and call it good. Unable to ramp up. I am pretty nervous about the Yamato, mostly because I don't want to take that double attack, so I am kind of playing a little, I don't want to say slowly, that doesn't feel right, but passively, I guess, and trying not to take so much of my life, especially because while I think blocker law was the play, I did have to ramp up and then -1, so I'm kind of back on my same curve, which, I don't know, isn't the greatest, isn't the worst. I think getting the Onami and the Zoro out of hand were 1,000 times worth it. My opponent goes ahead and plays another Amazon. I'll post a picture of this card on the screen. I'm sure a lot of, I have never seen it before, but it was kind of annoying. So he ends up swinging, and I take. We get Magellan, and we get the 6 cost Sanji blocker, a 2k, which at this point I'm okay with. Getting a Bond Clay, which at this point in the game doesn't feel great, especially because I'm thinking about playing the Bond Clay here just to ramp, but there's really no benefit. I think it'd be better to have the Bond Clay in my hand, and just trying to figure out what I want to do. Not really in a great position. I've been in better. I've also been in worse, though. So, I am at 7 Dawn, so I don't think Sangoro gets the ramp ability. I'm pretty sure I hold true to that if I do end up, or not the ramp, excuse me, the swinging. So, yeah, my opponent goes ahead and rests one of the Amazons, and I get a choice between minusing 2k power or taking my life. And I'm like, I'm just gonna minus the 2k power. Like, that's the worst, so... yeah, and I end up swinging the Sangoro, kind of the same effect. No ability to draw cards because I didn't go ahead and ramp, and we end up tapping 6 to drop the Sanji. I don't think that's the worst play. Sanji is a pretty big blocker, and kind of with my hand state, I just gotta survive until I can start dropping some big bodies. I'm thinking about dropping Kaido next turn, kind of just depending on what he does. I think that realistically, the blocker was probably the right play. I know I was thinking about playing Magellan, but yeah, and unfortunately not being able to swing or get the Dawn with the Sangoro, really unfortunate. You know, I love getting the Dawn with Sangoro. That's not the Dawn, excuse me, the draw with Sangoro. That's the best thing about him, besides the fact that he's Sanji, but I digress. So yeah, I am looking in my hand. I have 2 0 costs. I have a blocker. I'm hoping to just kind of live for 9 Kaido. And yeah, this is a pretty interesting turn. I think if he could play Hody to rest one of my characters, which would definitely be a bummer. And but he's definitely thinking out his turn, and understandably so. He ends up tapping a lot of his Dawn. And hey, speaking of Hody, he ends up swinging Hody, and that definitely worries me. I don't have a ton of counter in hand. Yamato ability is online, and exactly what he does, he ends up swinging huge, and I think he swings into life, if I'm not mistaken, and that's, I don't know, it's a little tough. So he is thinking about it. Don't blame him at all. This is actually a pretty quick game, and you know, looking back at it, it felt a lot longer, but not very long. But he ends up swinging into Sanji, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I think I can let him go. He's gonna swing 6 into Sanji, maybe into me. Regardless, I think I'm okay. Yeah, you can see I've got my 0 cost event and Magellan out, and unable to play the Magellan, which is unfortunate. I love Magellan. I'm gonna be really sad when Magellan gets dropped from this list. Like, I think it's just such a nuisance. I mean, I understand why, but yeah. So we end up drawing another Bond play, which is really helpful this late in the game. We go 6-2 draw, and we get an Uso Hachi, a 2k. That's perfect. He ends up countering out with the Satori. And yeah, I'm thinking about, my idea here is to swing 5 to, I've got a couple choices. Swing 5, get him to use one of the Amazons, drop Kaido, and pop the other one. Or I'm thinking about playing 9 Mom, and yeah, I think Kaido's probably the better play realistically, but yeah, I'm definitely torn between the 9 Mom and the Kaido, and I think at this point I realized that I didn't put the Altar 9 Mom that I pulled from our pack opening. I just totally blanked. So kind of a bummer, because I love Altar 9 Mom, but don't worry, it's in the deck now. And yeah, I'm definitely thinking about this play. It is a tough choice between, do I want to play passive, put something in his life, protect myself, heal myself, or do I want to aggro in? And I do end up picking Kaido. There's my face. I end up popping Amazon. I can't pop the Hody. It's Kaido pops a 6 or less, and then I swing the 10 into 8, and I'm feeling like I have a good amount of counter, and this gives me an opportunity to potentially get a Hody off the board. So I feel like this is a good play. I feel like this is a solid play, depending on how hard he swings with Yamato, and even if he swings really aggressively with Yamato, if I can clear the Hody, there's nothing else on board. If, I don't clear Hody, he gives me a decent amount of cards. He gives me some cards out of his hand. So I feel like this is a win-win here. Potentially, if I sequence this turn better, there's a world where I could have gone for game. But yeah. So he ends up going to take life, and I'm like, oh, like, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't say it like well enough. I swing at Hody, and he wants to keep Hody up, so he gives me the 0 cost and the dog, which that's not that's not exactly as impactful as I was hoping to get. The 0 cost, yes, I like getting that, but yeah, I was hoping for like a 0 cost and a Hody. So 0 cost and Holy, a bit of a bummer. So, but one of the things I do like about my hand is that I have a lot of counter in it at this point. I feel like this deck runs a lot of counter, and that to me is pretty exciting. So yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason I loved Boa, is I just always saw so much counter. And yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, organize my stuff while I wait. Another Hody comes down, which I'm nervous. I am fidgety, and that's why I had someone comment, like, you know, stop fanning out your cards. I'm not doing it to, like, check or anything. I'm doing it because I'm fidgeting, I'm nervous, and I don't know how to do that cool card shuffle that all the pro TCG players do. But so this comes in huge here. He ends up swinging 8 with Hody, and I take it, and I get another 0 cost. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I think I have a game. You know, he swings, regardless of how he swings with Yamato, I think I can counter out of one of these hits coming. Either the Hody hit here, which I end up countering out of, or the Yamato hit. And yeah, doing my math, trying to think about how much Yamato's gonna swing. And yeah, I end up dumping 4 cards to get out of that Hody hit, which definitely hurts. But I mean, if he goes 5-5, at this point he can either do 2 5 swings, a 5 with Yamato, a 5 with Shura, which I can counter out of, or he can do a 1-7 swing. And his son is leaning on the table right now, I believe, so that's why I was shaking a little bit. Sorry about that, but you know, I'm not gonna tell his son to stop doing that. That's not, I'm not that type of guy. So he ends up swinging the card, or putting the rest of the dot on Yamato and swinging, and I counter out of that too. Kind of just pretty sure I have game at this point. Granted, I think at this moment I did realize, oh yeah, I minus Dawn for Kaido. Whoops, maybe I don't have game. But we do end up swinging 7 with lead, and he just goes ahead and concedes. So we do end up winning the tournament, and I get my second winner card ever, and getting it with a deck that I really love but have not had a lot of success with is definitely really cool. I'm really enjoying Purple Luffy. Like, I love this deck. I think it's so cool. I think it's so fun, and so doing well with it is pretty cool for sure. But yeah, we're gonna play another Luffy game, and then we're gonna dabble in some Katakuri and Dofi. But Luffy is gonna be the main deck for a while, so you guys are gonna be seeing a lot of Purple Luffy over here. But yeah, so that's honestly, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.